You are the best person to love yourself on every level, in every aspect of life. So, tip number 1, I want you to stop comparing yourself to others, especially on social media. Just stop it right now. No more after this video ever again. You have to stop comparing yourself. We are all so incredibly different. There is no way that you can possibly compete with others. And you don't need to, because you are good enough just as you are. And what you've got to remember, especially when you're looking at the media, whether that be on social media or whether it be something in a magazine, most of it isn't even real. You know, looking at other people's lives and thinking, wow, everything in their life is absolutely perfect. Whoa, look at their body, it's amazing. It's not real. You've got to remember that. Everybody has got their own stuff going on, and what they show you on social media is either not quite the truth or a very, very small part of their life, the bit that they want you to see. But there will be other stuff going on, because life happens. And it's worth remembering that we've all got stuff going on, regardless of what people decide to share with you. So stop comparing yourself, because it's not realistic. You're comparing yourself to something that isn't even real. So that's tip number 1. No more comparing yourself. You are perfect just as you are. So tip number 2, I want you to start being really silly. Silly whenever you get the opportunity. You need to connect to your inner child and really start to home in on those parts of you that for a lot of people have got lost along the way. You know, by being silly and not worrying about how daft you look is fantastic for the whole of your body and your mind, and it will show your ego who's boss. So be daft, allow yourself to have fun. You know, the elements of fun that you can bring into life will do so much for not only your whole mental well-being, but your physical body too, because of the chemicals that you're going to be creating within your body are going to be the feel-good chemicals, and that has no end of benefits. So tip number 2, start bringing more fun into your life. So tip number 3, this is all about becoming aware of your self-chatter. It is so critical, because whatever you're telling yourself in those quiet moments is having a massive effect on how you feel on the inside. So become aware of what you're saying, whether it's when you're trying to get to sleep or whether you're daydreaming during the day. Notice what you're saying. What are you mulling over? What kind of messages are you putting in there? Because your whole you will believe what you say. You matter. You matter to you. Everything that you think, feel and say has a dramatic impact. So when we talk about this whole self-chatter and what's going on within your mind, is it good stuff that you're saying? Are you reassuring yourself? Are you telling yourself how amazing you are? Become aware. Become aware, because if you are not saying positive praise and productive things to make yourself feel good, then you are going to be constantly putting yourself not only into a state of anxiety, but you're going to be making yourself feel as though you're not good enough, and your confidence will drop and everything spirals from there. So what you say matters. So tip number 3, start to be aware of your self-chatter. Okay, so tip number 4 is all about ditching those who are sucking the life out of your energy, your mojo, your being, you. You've got to think about letting go of people that are doing you no good. Because what you'll find is that if the dynamics are that you're in quite a place of a low self-esteem, low energy, you're quite a people pleaser, it's all about keeping everybody happy because you want to be accepted, you don't always want to be in that space. You don't. And what will happen is as your confidence starts to build and you start to feel really, really good about yourself and you're not pleasing others quite the same, and the dynamics shift, people won't like it because they've got used to you pleasing them all the time. So it's really worth noticing the changes that start to happen as you start to feel good, but also prior to that, looking at who do I need to step back from? Who is really negative? Who's draining me? Who is helping me stay in this unloving state? And consider putting yourself first. Ditch those who are sucking the life out of you. So tip number 5, I want you to making some space in your diary just for you, some guilt-free me time. I want you to schedule it just like you would do for everybody else. Stop putting others first. Make some time just for you. Make a date with yourself. If you can't do it once a week, then do it once a month. But that's as an absolute minimum. Once a month, doing something that you absolutely love. And if you're not sure what you love, then you need to start trying some new things. But make a day in your diary for something that will make you feel gorgeously loved up. And by that, I mean you need to consider, how do you treat everybody else? So when you go on that date, you need to treat yourself how you treat those that you love. How you treat the people around you that you want to be accepted by. Because ultimately, the only acceptance you need is from yourself. So you've got to start building that relationship with you. So that's tip number 5, you're going on a self-love date. So number 6, I want you to learn how to say no. Say no to people whenever you need to. You can't keep pleasing everybody else. What about you? Don't say yes to stuff that you can't stand doing. Don't go places that you don't want to go. Don't give people a lift who you don't want to give a lift to. Don't answer the phone if you don't want to. Don't feel like you are being made to do stuff that doesn't resonate with you. Do what's right for you. Start practicing saying no, and I'm not going to lie, it's uncomfortable. When you first start saying no to people that you've been pleasing for years, you will feel as though you want the ground to just swallow you up. It's uncomfortable, but you've got to do it. And the more you do it, then the whole of you, your body, your mind will start to realise that actually nothing happened. Like I didn't, explode. I'm still here. It's doable. I can do this. And it gets easier from there. But you've got to start saying no. Okay, so with the whole no business, we associate it with something really bad, and that comes from childhood. So once you realise that, you've got to start seeing it in a different light. Saying no to others means saying yes to yourself. Okay, so start and look at it from a completely different angle. It's a positive thing for you if you've been agreeing to things that you really don't want to be doing. So saying no to others is saying yes to you. Okay? So that's tip number 6. So tip number 7 is becoming aware of how unique you are. As I said earlier, there's no comparing yourself to others from now on. You've got to really, really home in on you and how amazing you are. You're an amazing spiritual being, and the possibilities that you are capable of are endless. Forget everybody else. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of you. That's not your concern. Your only concern is how you feel about yourself. That's all that matters. Everybody else's stuff, that's just their perception. And if people don't like who you are, then the chances are they don't like themselves. And that's why they've got an opinion on you. So it doesn't matter. So focus on you. Start to become aware of how amazing you are. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself how much you love you. Start building that inner confidence, but give yourself the time to notice how amazing you are. I can feel how amazing you are just through the screen. I want you to believe it too. It's so important. So that's tip number 7. Start to become aware of how unique you are. So tip number 8 is learn to express yourself. Express yourself. Yeah, okay, I'm not a singer. But yeah, when you think about this tip, I want you to sing express yourself. Why not? It's what we think of. So do express yourself. Start to voice your opinion. If you don't want to do something or you don't want to go somewhere, then say that is your right. Stop doing everything that everybody else wants to do in the way that they want to do it. And it might seem like a really big thing, so you might have to do it in baby steps. Even if it's a case of, well, people always go to, I don't know, a particular place and you hate going there. You would really like to try such and such a place. Then say it, express it. I don't fancy going there, guys. I want to try here. Say what you want. Say, I want, I need, I'm going, I'm not. Own it and express yourself. Start saying what you want. You deserve to be heard. So tip number 8, express yourself. So tip number 9, stop limiting yourself. You are a phenomenal being. If there's something that you've always wanted to do and you've never had the confidence to do it, or you've never given yourself that right to take that time just for you because you've always felt guilty, because you're always looking after everybody else, now is the time to do it. Don't limit yourself any longer. If there's something that you've always wanted to do, then go and do it. Let your soul sing by doing what you're meant to be doing. You're only limited by your imagination. Be who you want to be. Go where you want to go. Take that time out for you. There is no need to be guilty. To want to have happiness in your life, to want to feel good. You're coming from a space of love for yourself and what is right for you. So stop limiting yourself. Tip number 9. So tip number 10, I want you to get a pen and paper and I want you to write down 10 things. Tip number 10, 10 things that you are willing to dump. I want you to create a dump it list. Think about everything that we've spoke about so far. And maybe there's a few other things that you can add in. And I want you to write them down and commit to 10 things that you are going to dump after this video. It's so important that you start to put yourself first, because that will help build your confidence and your self-worth and that feeling of, yeah, I deserve this and I don't need to feel guilty for wanting to love myself. You know, we associate loving yourself with being really selfish and really cocky, but it's not. It's not. It's your right to feel love, and there is nobody else better to give it to you than you. So go and get a pen and paper, 10 things that you're willing to dump, that it's going to make an incredible difference into your life, that will enable you to swaddle your whole being in much more self-love if you dump these 10 things. So tip number 10, dump 10 things.